Captain Elias Ward gripped the controls of his fighter as the sky above planet Iridia burned with streaks of laser fire. Smoke rose from shattered buildings, and the ground trembled under heavy bombardment. Humanity had been fighting the alien race known as the Krivans for months, and this battle was turning into one of the deadliest yet. Elias had faced death many times, but today felt different. Something in the chaos made his heart pound faster, and not just from fear. Reports crackled over the comms, voices shouting urgent messages as soldiers and pilots tried to hold their positions. "Elias? Status?" called Commander Rivera over the comms. "Holding the line, but the Krivans are pushing hard. We need reinforcements," Elias replied, scanning the battlefield. His eyes caught movement in the upper atmosphere, something descending at high speed. The object looked alien, yes, but it moved with a grace that was familiar. Elias squinted, trying to recognize it through the glare of explosions and the flickering light of distant fire. And then he froze. It was her. Lyra. His ex-wife, the woman who had once shared his life on Earth, now descending from orbit fully armored in a sleek foreign battlesuit. Her armor glinted in the smoke and sunlight, covering her from head to toe, but he could see the way she moved, the same elegant, confident stride he remembered from years ago. "Impossible," he muttered under his breath. Lyra landed in the middle of the battlefield with a controlled thud, her boots pressing into the scorched ground. Both human and Krivan forces stopped and stared. Her sudden arrival caused confusion on both sides, like the war itself paused for a heartbeat. "Captain Ward?" Her voice came through the translator embedded in her armor. It was familiar, warm, but edged with caution. Elias clenched his jaw. He couldn't move at first, stunned by the sight of her. He had not expected to see Lyra again, not here, not like this, not in the middle of a battlefield. "Lyra, what are you doing here?" he finally asked, his voice barely audible over the distant explosions. "I don't have time to explain fully," she said. Her armor shifted slightly as she raised her hands, not in surrender but in a gesture meant to halt hostilities. "I need your help. Now." The humans around Elias shifted nervously. Some gripped their weapons tighter, suspicion clear in their eyes. The Krivans, equally cautious, backed off slightly, their alien senses alerting them that something unusual was afoot. Elias's mind raced. Trusting her could mean walking into a trap. Ignoring her could cost countless lives. His military training battled with his heart, memories of their past flashing before his eyes. He remembered their life on Earth, the laughter, the quiet evenings, the arguments over trivial things that seemed so important at the time, and then the heartbreak. Lyra had left Earth to serve her alien faction, the very faction now threatening human colonies. "Why now?" he asked, though his voice was steadier than he felt. "Why appear in the middle of a battle? You could have contacted us before. Why not send a warning?" Lyra lowered her hand slightly, her armored head tilting. "I didn't have a choice. My faction was planning something catastrophic. If I hadn't intervened now, thousands of humans would be dead in moments." The weight of her words hit him. Thousands of lives. His mind immediately shifted from personal shock to duty. He could not let the Krivans or anyone wipe out innocent people if there was a chance to stop it. "Fine," he said finally, making a quick decision. "I'll hear you out, but one wrong move and—" He stopped, realizing he didn't want to think about her as an enemy. Lyra nodded, understanding the unspoken conditions. She gestured for him to follow her. Elias motioned to his squadron leader, who reluctantly agreed to cover him. Together they moved cautiously through the battlefield, dodging skirmishes between human and Kraven forces. Elias couldn't take his eyes off her. Even in full armor, she carried herself with a poise that made him remember why he had loved her. But there was a hardness too, a resolve forged in the fires of her duties. She was no longer just Lyra. She was Lyra, soldier of her faction walking into his world to prevent disaster. "Listen carefully," she said, voice calm but urgent. "There is a Krivan superweapon hidden on the moon above this planet. It's capable of destroying entire cities in minutes. My faction built it, but only a few know of its true purpose. I cannot deactivate it alone, and I need someone who knows your technology, someone who can think like a human to stop it." Elias swallowed. He had faced impossible odds before, but this felt personal. He was being asked to trust the woman who had once left him to save millions of lives with her. "Why me?" he asked, though he already knew part of the answer. Humans had unpredictability, creativity, and courage that even advanced alien factions sometimes underestimated. That had always been his edge. Lyra's eyes, visible through her helmet's visor, softened for a moment. "Because you are human, and because I trust you, more than anyone else." The word struck him deeper than any weapon ever could. She trusted him. After all this time, she had come here, in full armor, into the middle of a battlefield, relying on him to prevent a catastrophe. Before Elias could respond, an explosion nearby shook the ground. Dust and debris filled the air, reminding him that the war was not waiting for their reunion. "Then we don't have a moment to waste," Elias said, his voice firm, steady. "Lead the way. I'll cover you. Let's stop this before it's too late." Lyra nodded once, and together they moved forward, weaving through the chaos of the battle. Around them, humans and Krivans paused, sensing the shift in the fight. Something had changed. Hope, fear, and uncertainty mixed in the air. Elias glanced at Lyra again. He still did not know why she had returned, why she had chosen this moment, but he knew one thing. Humanity had a chance now, a chance because of her unexpected arrival. And for the first time in months, amidst the chaos and fear, Elias felt a spark of something he hadn't felt in a long time: hope. The battlefield had quieted, but only slightly. Explosions still echoed in the distance, and smoke twisted in the wind. Captain Elias Ward led his small team cautiously through the debris-strewn streets of Iridia's capital city. Lyra moved beside him, her armor glinting in the pale sunlight, each step precise and confident. Elias couldn't stop glancing at her. He remembered her clearly. The way she used to laugh at his terrible jokes, the evenings spent under Earth's stars, the arguments that ended with warm apologies. And then the heartbreak. Lyra leaving Earth to serve her alien faction, a choice he never understood. Now, she had returned in full battle armor, standing on the very planet he was fighting to protect. "Captain Ward," Lyra's voice cut through his thoughts, calm, yet firm. "We don't have time for long explanations. I need you to trust me." "Can you do that?" Elias hesitated, fingers tightening on the strap of his blaster. "I don't know if I can. Not after everything. Not knowing why you left, not knowing why you're here now." Lyra lowered her hands slightly, showing no aggression. "I left because I had to. My faction's mission demanded it. I didn't choose to hurt you or anyone on Earth, but now if we don't act quickly, thousands of lives will be lost." Elias felt the weight of her words. Thousands of innocent humans could die, and she was the only one who knew the full plan. His sense of duty kicked in, stronger than his hurt. "All right," he said finally, his voice firm. "I'll hear you out. But if this is a trap—" "It isn't," she interrupted, her tone soft but unwavering. "I wouldn't risk it. I came here to stop it, to stop them, and to stop this war from getting worse." Elias nodded. He motioned for his squad to stay alert as they moved through the ruined city, dodging fallen debris and hidden Krivan patrols. Lyra led the way, scanning the area with sensors built into her armor. As they moved, Elias noticed small details that reminded him of their past together. The way she paused at a damaged building, observing quietly, analyzing every detail. The same careful attention she had once shown when they worked on projects together back on Earth. She was still the same Lyra, he realized, just shaped by a life far different from his own. "Tell me," he asked cautiously, "what exactly is this weapon? What can it do?" Lyra glanced at him, her eyes serious behind the visor. "It's a Krivan superweapon, capable of destroying entire human cities in minutes. It was built by my faction, but only a few knew its full power. My people didn't intend to use it here, at least not officially. But some leaders decided otherwise. I can't allow it to be activated. Elias swallowed. He had faced impossible odds before, but the thought of an entire city wiped out in moments made his stomach twist. And you think we can stop it? She gave a small nod. Yes, but I can't do it alone. I need your knowledge, your human thinking. You have creativity and unpredictability that even advanced alien technology struggles to handle. Elias smirked faintly, despite the tension. Flattery. I appreciate it, but we're still risking everything here. You understand that, right? Lyra paused, then replied quietly, almost personally. I understand. That's why I came here. I had no choice but to act, and I knew you were the only one who could help me. A memory hit him, years ago, when they had worked together on a scientific project on Earth. She had solved problems he thought were impossible. Her mind, sharp and analytical, had always impressed him. Now, it seemed, he would need her as much as she needed him. Fine, he said, determination setting in. We do this together, but we move carefully. No heroics? Captain Elias Ward moved carefully through the ruins of Iridia's capital city, following Lyra. Her armored suit made her stand out, even in the chaos of battle, but she moved with a grace that made her nearly invisible to the few Kryvan patrols that remained. Elias couldn't help but notice how precise and confident she was, every step measured, every glance assessing the environment. For months, he had fought the Kryvans, relying on human skill, intuition, and courage. But now, beside him, was someone who carried knowledge he didn't have, a partner who could blend human and alien strategy in ways he couldn't fully understand. Yet, even as he relied on her, part of him remained cautious. Trust did not come easily. Elias, Lyra said quietly, her voice calm through the comm link. We need to reach the Kryvan command hub before they activate the weapon. I have a path that avoids the main patrols, but it's risky. Are you ready? Elias nodded, though his hand hovered over his blaster. I'm ready, but we move together. One wrong move, and this entire plan fails. Lyra gave a small tilt of her head. Agreed. They navigated through the rubble, slipping, past watchful Kryvan soldiers, using shadows and debris as cover. Elias felt a familiar thrill of tension. Every moment could bring discovery, danger, or death. But alongside Lyra, he also felt hope, a rare spark in the middle of so much destruction. As they moved, Elias couldn't resist asking, Lyra, after all this time, why did you come back? I mean, really? Lyra paused, crouching behind a broken wall to check the path ahead. I came back because I couldn't stand by and watch humans die. Because I still care, Elias. And because I knew you were the only one who could help me stop this weapon. Her words hit him harder than any laser blast ever could. Care. Trust. Even after all their history, she still believed in him. He felt the weight of that responsibility pressing on his shoulders. But he also felt pride. Human courage and ingenuity had always been underestimated by alien forces. And now, that very strength might save millions. They entered a partially collapsed building, using it as a temporary hideout. Elias pulled out a small device, a portable scanner, and checked for alien signals. Lyra leaned over his shoulder, her helmet close to his ear. You're impressive, she said quietly. Even now, humans find solutions in ways we never expect. Elias smiled faintly. I could say the same about you. I've seen your faction's tech, but your way of thinking, it's different. Smart, efficient, and sometimes unpredictable, just like humans. She gave a small laugh, the first sound that felt normal between them since she had left. I guess that's why we make a good team, even if we don't always understand each other. They moved on, carefully avoiding a Kryvan drone patrol. Elias and Lyra worked in sync, her knowledge of alien tech guiding their path, his quick thinking and human intuition handling unexpected challenges. When a patrol blocked their route unexpectedly, Elias quickly set a distraction using a small explosive, sending the soldiers running while Lyra disabled a security device with precision. Nice work, she said, impressed. You're not just talking about human ingenuity. You're proving it. The compliment made Elias chuckle even in the tense moment. Thanks, but we're not done yet. Keep your focus. Hours passed as they navigated through abandoned streets, ruined buildings, and hidden tunnels beneath the city. Each step brought them closer to the Kryvan command hub and the superweapon above. Along the way, Elias noticed moments that reminded him of their shared past. The way Lyra paused to analyze situations carefully, the attention to detail, and the subtle gestures of reassurance she gave him. It was clear that while she had changed, she was still the woman he had loved, strong, brilliant, and determined. And yet there was a distance too, shaped by duty, by her choices, and by the pain of their past. Finally, they reached a vantage point overlooking the hub. The massive structure loomed above the city, bristling with energy weapons and guarded by Kryvan soldiers. From this height, Elias could see the alien technology in detail, the pulsing cores, the armored walls, the sheer scale of the weapon they had to stop. Lyra knelt beside him, pointing to the control panel at the center. The weapon is activated remotely from that hub. We need to infiltrate it and shut it down before it fires. I can bypass some of the security systems, but I'll need your help to handle the unpredictable human side. Locks, circuits, human interfaces. Elias nodded, determination hardening in his chest. We do this together. We get in, we shut it down, and we get out alive. Nothing more, nothing less. Lyra's visor shifted, showing the faintest hint of a smile. Exactly. And after this, we'll see what comes next. But first, survival. Together they moved closer to the hub, using shadows and debris for cover. Each step required patience, skill, and trust. When a Kryvan patrol appeared unexpectedly, Elias acted instinctively, creating a distraction while Lyra disabled the patrol's sensors. They were a team now, human and alien working seamlessly, their combined skills outmatching the enemies around them. As they approached the hub's entrance, Elias glanced at Lyra. You know, for someone I never expected to see again, you've surprised me, and I mean that in a good way. Lyra tilted her head slightly. I'm full of surprises, but remember, Elias, this isn't about us. It's about saving people. Humans, my people, anyone in the path of this weapon. That's why I'm here. That's why I needed you. Elias swallowed, feeling the truth in her words. Duty, trust, and courage. Those were what mattered now. Their past could wait. The future depended on their actions. They stood together at the entrance of the Kryvan hub, taking a deep breath. Beyond those doors lay danger, uncertainty, and possibly death. But Elias felt a spark of confidence. With Lyra by his side, combining human ingenuity and alien expertise, they had a real chance to succeed. And in that moment, amidst the tension and fear, Elias realized something important. Humans could accomplish extraordinary things when they worked together, when they trusted each other, and when they refused to give up, even in the darkest of battles. With a nod to each other, they stepped forward, ready to face whatever lay beyond the doors. The battle for Iridia, and for millions of lives, was about to enter its most critical phase. Captain Elias Ward crouched behind a broken wall, scanning the Kryvan hub through the dust and smoke. The massive structure loomed above him, its surface bristling with energy conduits and armored panels. Every second wasted increased the chance that the superweapon above Iridia would fire. Millions of human lives hung in the balance, and Elias felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him like never before. Lyra knelt beside him, her visor reflecting the faint glow of alien machinery. We have to move quickly, she whispered. The security protocols are about to reset. If we wait too long, the weapon will become fully operational. Elias nodded, checking his blaster and scanning for patrols. We need a plan. We get in, disable the main control, and get out. Minimal casualties, maximum efficiency. Lyra's armored shoulders shifted slightly. I've prepared a path through the side tunnels. They won't expect an intrusion from this angle, but we'll need to improvise once we reach the core. The Kryvan's technology is advanced and their systems can detect anomalies quickly. Elias clenched his jaw. Improvisation was his specialty. Humans often relied on creativity and quick thinking, traits the Crivens didn't anticipate. That edge, combined with Lyra's insider knowledge, could make the difference between success and failure. They moved cautiously, slipping through shadowed corridors and debris-filled hallways. Every sound, the hiss of a vent, the clank of metal, even their own breathing felt amplified in the tense silence. Elias couldn't help but glance at Lyra occasionally. Her armor had changed in ways he couldn't fully understand, but her movements remained familiar. There was the same calm determination he remembered, tempered now by experience and duty. As they advanced, Elias noticed the subtle gestures she made, signals to avoid traps, adjustments to sensors, calculations that only someone with intimate knowledge of Criven systems could make. He marveled at her skill, yet part of him couldn't ignore the unresolved emotions between them. "Elias," Lyra said quietly as they paused near a junction, "I need to tell you something. Back on Earth, when I left, I never meant to hurt you. My duty demanded it, but I always hoped we'd meet again. I just didn't know it would be under circumstances like this." Elias felt a pang of emotion, memories flooding back. The quiet evenings, shared laughter, the arguments that had ended in apologies and smiles. He swallowed, focusing on the task at hand. "I know," he replied. "We can talk later. Right now we need to survive and stop that weapon." They continued through the tunnels, the hum of the superweapon growing louder with each step. Sensors embedded in the walls pulsed faintly, detecting movement, scanning for intruders. Lyra paused, kneeling to manipulate a panel. Sparks flew as she bypassed the security system, and the sensor's lights flickered off. "Good work," Elias whispered, impressed. "You make it look easy." "It's not," she replied. "But with you covering me, we can manage." As they approached the weapon's core, alarms suddenly blared. Red lights flashed and the hum of the energy chambers intensified. A Criven patrol rounded the corner, weapons raised. "Here we go," Elias muttered. Using a combination of skill and ingenuity, he threw a small device that released a blinding flash of light and a smokescreen. The patrol hesitated. Captain Elias Ward and Lyra moved cautiously through the smoke-filled streets of Iridia, their footsteps quiet against the rubble-strewn ground. The destruction around them told the story of a battle that had pushed both humans and Crivens to the limit. Yet amidst the chaos, a new challenge awaited, one that neither of them had fully anticipated. Ahead, the massive Crivan command hub loomed. Its walls pulsed with alien energy, and through the reinforced glass they could see the high-ranking Crivan commander orchestrating his forces. The commander's presence meant immediate danger. Every step toward him was a risk, but Elias and Lyra had no choice. If they failed, the superweapon they had just disabled could be reactivated. "Elias," Lyra whispered, crouching behind a collapsed wall. "That's the commander. He'll have protocols in place to prevent intrusion. We need to be precise, or we'll never make it inside." Elias nodded. "We've come this far. We can't turn back now." His hands tightened around his blaster, and his mind raced for strategies. Human ingenuity had carried them this far, but now they faced a challenge that required every ounce of courage, teamwork, and creativity. Lyra led the way, using her knowledge of Crivan technology to bypass alarms and sensors. Elias followed, alert for any unexpected threats. The two of them moved in silence, understanding each other without words. Their shared history, combined with the urgency of the mission, created a seamless partnership. As they neared the command center, a squad of Criven guards appeared, blocking their path. Elias quickly assessed the situation. The guards outnumbered them, but human adaptability and improvisation had saved them before. "Follow my lead," he whispered. Elias darted forward, creating a distraction by triggering a nearby energy conduit to spark and flare. The guards hesitated, momentarily blinded. Lyra seized the opportunity, her armored hands moving with precision to disable the nearest security systems. Together, they neutralized the guards without causing unnecessary harm. Once the path was clear, they entered the command center. The room was vast, filled with holographic displays and alien consoles, all glowing with pulsing light. At the center stood the Kryvan commander, a towering figure, eyes sharp, radiating authority and intelligence. "Lyra," the commander said in their shared language, his voice steady but tinged with surprise. "You've betrayed your faction." Lyra straightened, her stance firm. "I am stopping a weapon that could destroy countless innocent lives. I serve duty, not blind orders." The commander's gaze shifted to Elias. "And you, human? You interfere in matters beyond your comprehension?" Elias stepped forward, courage steady in his voice. "I understand more than you think. I understand the value of life, of freedom, of doing what's right. We won't let you destroy it." The commander's expression hardened, and he activated the hub's defenses. Automated drones and energy turrets swiveled toward them. But Elias and Lyra were ready. Using a combination of human creativity and Lyra's insider knowledge, they dodged, disabled, and outmaneuvered the defenses. Each movement showcased the strengths of two species working together, blending intuition, skill, and courage. During the confrontation, Lyra revealed crucial information. "The leadership of my faction planned this weapon without full consent. They intended to use it to assert power, not to protect lives. I discovered it too late to prevent them without intervention." Elias absorbed the revelation. The betrayal, the manipulation, the stakes, they were higher than he had imagined. Yet this also explained why Lyra had returned. Her actions were not reckless, they were calculated, moral, and courageous. "Humans," the Kryvan commander said, his voice cold. "You think you can challenge us with your fragile minds? Your creativity will not save you." Elias stood tall, meeting the commander's gaze. "Maybe not alone, but together, with allies and determination, humans can overcome far greater threats than you realize. That's why we're here, and why we will succeed." Lyra stepped beside him, her presence calm yet powerful. "It's not just human ingenuity. It's partnership, courage, and the choice to do what's right. That's something even advanced technology cannot predict." With renewed determination, they moved toward the weapon's final control interface. The commander tried to block, them summoning more forces. But Elias used strategy, misdirection, and improvisation to outmaneuver each obstacle. Lyra disabled critical systems from the consoles, combining her alien knowledge with human adaptability to neutralize the superweapon once and for all. The tension reached its peak as the commander confronted them directly. He moved with speed and precision, a deadly opponent. But Elias and Lyra were in perfect sync. Elias dodged and created openings, while Lyra acted decisively to neutralize threats. Finally, they cornered the commander, who realized his plans were unraveling. "You cannot win," he said, struggling against the reality unfolding before him. Elias shook his head. "It's not about winning. It's about doing what's right," Lyra added. "And that includes saving lives, even if it means standing against your own faction. Humanity, and life, deserves that chance." Defeated, the Kryvan commander retreated, his systems compromised by Lyra's interventions. The superweapon remained offline, its threat neutralized. Around them, the hub's energy stabilized, signaling a hard-won victory. Elias and Lyra stood together, catching their breath amidst the flickering lights and the quiet aftermath. The battle had been won, but the revelation weighed heavily. Lyra had risked everything, her life, her standing, and her past, to prevent a disaster. "You did it," Elias said, voice filled with admiration and relief. "We did it." Lyra's visor reflected his gaze, and for the first time, Elias saw a hint of the woman he once loved. The strength, intelligence, and determination that had drawn him to her years ago. "Together," she said softly. "Always together when it matters most." Elias nodded. "Humans, we're resilient. We adapt. And when we combine courage with ingenuity, nothing can stop us." Lyra placed a gloved hand on his shoulder, a gesture of trust and camaraderie. "And I've learned that even aliens can see the value in human determination. You've reminded me of why I fought for this alliance in the first place. In that moment, the battlefield outside, the ruined city, and the chaos of war faded slightly. Elias realized that the true victory wasn't just disabling the weapon. It was the demonstration of what humans could accomplish when they refused to give up, when they relied on courage, intelligence, and the bonds of trust. The Krivan commander's retreat signaled more than defeat. It marked a turning point. Humans had shown they could face advanced technology, alien strategies, and overwhelming odds, and emerge victorious. And Lyra's return had been the catalyst, a reminder that even in the darkest times, courage and morality could guide the way. As Elias and Lyra prepared to leave the hub, their path clear for now, he understood something important. The strength of humanity was not just in its weapons, but in its spirit. The ability to fight, to think, to trust, and to choose what was right. That was what made humans truly formidable. Together, they stepped out of the command hub, ready to face whatever challenges remained, knowing that they had prevented catastrophe and proven the indomitable power of human courage. Captain Elias Ward and Lyra emerged from the Krivan command hub into the soft glow of dawn breaking over Iridia. The battlefield that had been torn apart by months of war now lay quiet, a fragile calm settling over the ruined city. Smoke still rose from scattered fires, but the air carried a sense of relief. Humans had survived, and the superweapon was neutralized. Elias glanced at Lyra, her armored suit reflecting the first light of day. Despite everything, the distance between their worlds, the battles, and the uncertainties, she had stayed true to her mission and to him. Her courage, intelligence, and moral conviction had saved countless lives. Elias, Lyra said softly, her voice carrying over the quiet. We did it. The weapon is offline and your people are safe, and for now. Elias nodded, his heart heavy yet full. We did it together. You risked everything to stop this. You didn't have to, but you did. Lyra shifted slightly, the armor around her moving with quiet precision. I couldn't stand by. Not when so many lives were at stake. And I trusted you to help me. You've proven that humans are capable of extraordinary things when they refuse to give up. Elias looked out over the battlefield. His people, soldiers, pilots, and civilians, were beginning to regroup, repairing what they could and tending to the wounded. Their resilience amazed him. Even in the face of overwhelming alien technology and impossible odds, humanity had survived. And they would continue to survive, stronger for the lessons learned in the battle. Humans. We're stubborn, he said with a small smile, and maybe a little reckless. But we fight with courage and intelligence. That's what gives us the edge. Lyra's visor tilted slightly as if acknowledging his words with approval. I've seen it firsthand. Today your ingenuity and determination saved countless lives. That's something even my faction has to respect. A faint rumble echoed from the remnants of the Krivan forces. Elias stiffened, instinctively reaching for his blaster. Lyra placed a hand on his arm, calming him. It's over, for now, she said. The Krivans will retreat after losing their weapon, and the surviving leaders will reconsider their strategies. We've changed the course of this battle. Elias took a deep breath, letting the tension leave his shoulders. The weight of the past weeks